Darn, I just realized I was muted. Anyway, probably not on Instagram, but maybe in my on my YouTube. Anyway, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. You know how the little kids always fall and say, "I'm okay." Anyway, so what I was basically saying is that I'm just so excited to be able to bring you our revamping of the four segments. And it's World's Wishes, Topic Trends, Rep Yo City, and Each One Teach One. So I'm really excited about it. Honey, 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 boo boo. Well, the reason why I say that is I love me some boo boo. Feel like things to, I like to preamble things. And so in doing this, I'm preambling we, you know, our black men, our black people have been hot topics and commodities lately. Um, Maybe people at one point were afraid to date someone African American or whatever the case may be, but now they not. Okay, they're not. So, Honey Boo Boo, a friend that I did for drinking and driving or driving under the influence, same thing. I know there's DWI, DUI, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. But what I don't understand is I don't know if y'all watch the show. Now I live in reality hell, and I love reality shows. And the reason why I bring this up is because the little boyfriend and his name actually is what is his name? His name is Draylon Carswell. Now, when the show aired originally, maybe like last year, it came out with interesting twist. And the main reason was, unfortunately, they couldn't get Mama June to do what they wanted her to do in the way that they wanted her to do it. So they started twisting the show to, basically focus on Pumpkin and her husband being the parents of um, Alana, and maybe making it so that, like the family was still able to stay together as the all of June's daughters. Well, anyway, so when the little boy Draylon came up on the show, he was just the nicest little thing and just as pleasant. I mean, I was really proud of her for picking a little fella like that because he seemed to be nice. But nothing is never what it seems, right? So next thing you know, they out here doing what eyes, and of course, teenagers. I get it. He's 21, she's 17. But it's so much going on out there in the Georgia. But basically, he had outstanding warrants, and he was in his little Dodge Charger, and they ran the tags and realized who they had or whatever. And little fellas, big fellas, grown teenage, whatever. It's okay that you want to experience life in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're 21, and even at 17, you're trying to get your own independence. But the reality of it all is that you've got to keep your stuff together. I remember being younger, and I was always doing something like it's like I wasn't taught that, but I was basically, if I got in trouble, I didn't get in trouble no more. Let me put it to you like that. But the bad part about it is that the stigma that you gain from whatever you do continues to carry with you. You have every family reunion, they think, oh, that Draylen, he was drinking and he was just, you know, set yourself up for success. Don't set yourself up for failure, because at this rate, you setting yourself up for failure. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, so now he has dreads with the tinted tips at the top. He got a grill in his mouth and chains, and he just looking like a gangster. And I'm sorry, but the people that some of the younger people emulate, They have money. Okay? And the things that you're doing to get whatever respect you think that they have for that, you don't want that. That is not what you come from. And you could tell that ain't what you came from, but hey, what do I know? I'm just bringing you the money, bringing you the news. Honey, boo boo on you. Okay? Get your life, girl, and bring your man up. You know what I'm saying? Women, we need to keep in mind that maybe your man is down and he's depressed. Maybe he don't have a job. Maybe he does have a job. Maybe he had money and he lost his money. Whatever the situation is, if you love him, then you exalt him to his kingship and then you bow down when he sits on the throne. Okay? And I say that not for this liberation stuff. No, I'm not into that like that. I just believe that a woman is supposed to exalt her man to be a king if he is not there. So if they pipe smoke it, what you want to believe, you think what you want to think. We only have 30 minutes per segment, and this is, if you didn't know, this is trend topic, trend topics, because I love the topics. And let's move on to our next celebrity, honey. Like I said, our black men are hot. What's going on, Avril Lavigne? She done dropped her boyfriend Moon, and she done went to Tiger, honey. Now, maybe Moon's Asian. I don't know. Excuse me. But you cannot allow yourself to get caught up on some sex, okay? I feel like Tiger be throwing it on them. Next thing you know, they lost their damn mind. But not Kylie. Kylie was like, hey, I'm out. Deuces. You don't want to be with me? Fine with me. But anyway, I love Avril and I love Tiger. I like both of their music, but it's like basically they were seen in Paris hanging out and partying, and it might be all innocent because they did that song together. But hey, sometimes you get caught up in them studios now, and you never know what goes on. But the reality is, they basically Avril called off her engagement to Mood Sung, uh, or maybe it's Mod Sun. I'm so sorry if I said it wrong. So she called off her engagement, but we don't know what's up with that because it could be several different issues going on with that. But they basically been on and off for several months, and she finally just called it quits. But the reality is that she said she'll see you later because I'm tired of it. So again, it never hurt anybody to try to take their time and figure out what they're going to do. I mean, they're young or whatever, but nobody really knows what's up. But one thing I can appreciate about Avril is that she said sometimes, shoot, you just got to listen to your heart. And I know that's right because I always listen to my heart. But as you get older, you evolve into a place where you have to take time to deal with the things that you want to deal for yourself. So this is a time for her where she's young, and things have been faddish lately, especially after COVID. We was all at home, people was getting pregnant, and everybody wanted to have a baby. People having babies. Hey, have a baby. Then you get everybody that wants to get married, and I want to get married again. I'm not saying I don't want to get married. You know what I'm saying? But some people don't like marriage. They think it's confining or whatever. Bottom line is she's basically going through her life and figure things out. And I don't blame her. She figured it off. Because if you are going through something with someone and they're back and forth and in and out and up and down and out, you know what I'm saying? It's like they didn't want to be you. But they say that there's been rumors about she and Tyga anyway, and they out, but just tell the Tyga's looking, let's go. If you want to go out, we can go out, we can hang out, whatever. And she was probably like, yeah, I need to get over this. I'm just so tired. But here's what I've always said: when you're in a relationship, and once you start talking noise, you might as well forget it. You're not gonna come back and be, um, hello, I met you in the Uber. You're talking about a person that you're dating with, and you and you going to recover. Talk about family. I mean, you know your family is definitely going to check your stop talking about it. And where you're basically being influenced now because you were just mad. You know what I'm saying? But at that same time, you might have been just mad, but now you talking noise on the person and finally fixing any resolution definitely into the relationship like you should be. So my advice is if you especially if you start talking to another dude about your dude or another female about your girl or female about your female or dude about your dude, whatever, then the reality is that person is definitely going to put things in a way that's going to make you not want to be with them because you're going to get feelings for him, for her, for them. So, before you put that out there, make sure you leave. Uh-oh, what's going on with this? Hold on, y'all. But before you put that out there, make sure you're done because you don't want to transfer on to somebody when you're not ready to get over this person. And you go and you up with this person and it's not you're not ready to do what needs to be done to move process. But I do prefer saying you got to do with the maybe got going on there. Wish her well, amen, honey. Now, our last topic in the trending topics for this week, child, is Tim Norman. Let me tell you something. I'm a mother of a son, and I know it would just kill me if this happened. So, I remember if you don't, for those of you that don't know, Tim Morton from St. Louis, his mom started Sweetie Pies. And then she aired it to him. And I'm not sure what happened to his mom, Miss Sweetie Pie, but she was getting older when the show started evolving to be the owner. And so I pray that she's doing okay. But I also know that you know she was very uh is a very real woman in terms of she's gonna put it to you like it is. But I know it hurt her when Tim was arrested for um killing his cousin. But the thing about it was, if you watch the show back then, and again, like I said, I love to live in some reality. So I was watching it, and back then it was like he was always saying he was angry. He was playing his cousin out to be somebody that was like he was setting up the murder. Like you could tell just when you go back and you look back on it. And then he was also dating Jennifer Williams, who is one of she dated a professional football player or basketball player one, but she's on it was basketball players because she's on Basketball Wives. And I thank God that now she's happy apparently or it appears that she's happy. Sorry. And but she dated him and she became very reserved because he was crazy, child. He was crazy. But anyway, so he plotted the murder of his nephew for the insurance money and the things that people do. It's just stupid. And murder, you know somebody's coming to look for you. And I think pretty sure he did insurance money. That was where he got indicted. He did the insurance money. Then what he did was he did it because with it because if I'm mistaken, his cousin had he had abnormality, like he maybe a little autistic or something, but he was always out there wearing the big chains, trying to be. But he wouldn't get. I don't know the whole, but apparently there was an issue with that nephew not giving something that Tim wanted him to have, and or Tim needed money or whatever it was, honey. He was sentenced today for to life. He was sentenced to life, and I just say some people say that some people, are not guilty of certain things, but I do feel that the law always prevails. Say what you want to say, but you know what I'm saying. Most of the time, the information that is being given, received, and obtained in the legal system, if they didn't have it, then he's going now for life. But and actually, yeah, today, yep. And he was found guilty back in September of setting up his nephew, who was only 21 years old, and he was paid. Lord, that's just ridiculous. And then on top of everything, he only got 250K. If we not touching a million, boy, bye. And some girl named is it Trakea Ellis to pull the. I wonder how much time she got. She was charged with conspiracy to murder, child, and she pled guilty, and she was sentenced in January. But she over 3 years. She told him, but you know what I'm saying, child. If you gonna commit damn self, because people today a damn sure not trying to be on your side. If it's between them and you going into to the jailhouse, you gonna give it up. You gonna give it up. Why it do money? It don't pay. So I don't know how you, but that's so unfortunate. I mean, he in prison before, so that's the killer part of it. He was in prison before, so he's grown up in the prison system, and apparently he thought he had what it to pull off a murder and make it seem like he didn't have to face the consequences. Child, this is what happens when you watch too many Netflix movies. Netflix will have you tripping because I swear I drove by a truck yesterday, and in LA there's different sectors, like little suburbs you cross over. I was coming to Lynn on my way to Lady back, and passed this truck, and it was full of boxes that said Downy on them. Lord, I was worried. I was like, let me get away from here. They might be lying me some money. But that's why I've been watching way too many money lying series on Netflix. That's when I do the reality TV. People are not, you know, like they just look bad sometimes. I ain't gonna say, ain't got no other way to say it. But anyway, so this concludes our first segment of our trending topics, and we'll be back in 7 minutes to start our next topic. So hold on, hold up. I'm just gonna put my music on and let y'all hear my music and get for you, and I'll be right back. Yay! You'll still see my face. Let me put on a good song that y'all might want to hear now.
Looking for love, looking for love. 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 I've been spending too much much time chasing, looking for something no one could have gave me. Looking for some love to come and save me, but I just had to look deep down, and I just had to get away. I just had to find my way, had to pave my own way. I did it anyway. Had to break down to build me. Had to close my eyes to see. Had to hold my breath to keep breathing. Had to lose myself to find me. Looking for love, looking for love. 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 I don't have time to be going around. I'm not the type to be played around. There's plenty of me that I haven't found. I keep my 2 feet planted on the ground. I got my own bag, don't ask where you at. Making my own money, chasing my own bag. Got them Fendi sneaks and that Louis pad. About to bust the move, gotta meet the man. Had to break down to build me. Had to close my eyes to see. Had to hold my breath to keep breathing. Had to lose myself to find me. Looking for love, looking for love. 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 I've been spending too much time chasing, looking for something no one could have gave me. Looking for some love to come and save me, but I just had to look deep down, and I just had to get away.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. And I thought we would go ahead and get this out of the way. The world wishes. I love this topic in that world wishes basically what it sounds like. I mean, what I'm bringing to you is world news, things that's going on today. But then we end each of the there's three different topics in each category, so we can talk about that, you know, for a few minutes. And then at the end of the world wishes, ultimately when I have more people join me on the show and you come on and you talk about things that you want to talk about at the end of each segment with world wishes, you'll say what you wish, something you wish for the world. So the first topic I want to bring up again, I have a friend and he always says to me that there are no ethics in business. And I say this a lot. I repeat him telling me this a lot because it was really something that I had to wrap my brain around because it was so funny that like I'm such an emotional feelings lovey-dovey squishy kind of girl that every time I think about something I think, oh my gosh, how would it affect you? And he was like, haven't you ever heard nice guys always finish last? And I was like, so now so when we had the conversation and once it ended I went and I just really processed it over and over and over again, that it was like, he's factual. It's fact. There's no ethics in business. People don't give a damn, especially in the business. But I will say that somebody can teach me something and I can teach somebody else something. So I realize that there are certain things that in order for me to progress, I have to take on a certain mentality in regard to business that I'm going to be doing. Because if I don't, like I said, like he said, I won't succeed. But what I want to talk about today is the House Ethics Committee. Okay? Okay. We have a whole House Ethics Committee in our government. Now, what the hell they doing in there? Because all that's business and ain't none of it good. But anyway, this was in the House Ethics Committee. They launched an investigation on George Santos. Now, I don't know exactly where he sits. You know what I'm saying? But he's in the G caucus meeting on Capitol Hill. So he's in DC. And so basically the reason why they're launching this investigation on his ass is because how many of you have lied on your resume to get a job? So he, the way that they put it in the news is that he lied about a swath. A swath means a whole bunch of shit. That's who the hell was in his ass. Okay, because if memory serves me correctly, they wouldn't let no Obama in on when somebody was he part this or part that? Is he black? Is he white? Did he go to church? Did he not go to church? And that what had nothing to do with anything because he didn't even lie on his resume. But this is funny to me. So not only I showed this picture of him, and I feel kind of sorry for George Santos because he was like, "Damn, I've been caught. What am I gonna do?" He stressed. But the panel voted earlier this week that they were gonna open up this investigation because you know he's a Republicans, but and we basically like I can't say what party I belong to because I really am not a political person. I will be honest. I I hear people say all the time that if you don't vote, you can't make changes and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. I feel you. However, I also believe what do they say? What's that? If you wear pearls with swine, they get dirty or something like that, or you can't get in there with the pigs because you're gonna get dirty. That's how I feel about that. But the panel had issues. They were not happy with George Santos. Months after they asked him to resign he's actually is a representative of Republican York, but he sits, I believe, in D.C. And then they had called for him to resign, but then the panel was like, "No, hold up, wait a minute. We want to do an investigation, and we want to determine whether he's unlawful or he did anything unlawful related to his campaign. Well, hell, at this point, he did. You see, because it wouldn't be raised if he had. Somehow, some way, somebody done told somebody he didn't pay somebody enough. I don't know, but the violation of what they say the conflict is of laws and violations of sexual misconduct laws, according to a statement from the committee. So it always has to do with sex, Jesus. What the hell, George? Come on. Your parents aren't happy. They were so pleased that you was out there in the House of Representatives, and now you go and mess up and lie. And he has rebuked calls to step down. He's fighting every tooth and nail of the way, along with the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Has he did go ahead and resign from the committee assignments for the time being. Whatever, George. They gonna find something on you. They gonna find something on George. Yeah, they are. So anyway, well, poor George. George, I feel like you need to get your life, bruh. But anyway, they've unanimously voted that George's ass needs to be like let go, get out. But my thing is, here we have a house of ethics, okay? We have a house of ethics playing with people who have no ethics. I also understand, but it is what it is, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But this, originally it happened like on January 25th, like only a couple months ago. They had this meeting, and then finally now they're starting to, go ahead and launch this full investigation. And it has some. The killer part of it is it has other things to do with some COVID crap. They're investigating the FBI and origins of the COVID-19. I'm just like, what more can you tell us about COVID? We already have half the country disbelieve in it. The other half of the country, like I still wear a mask when I'm out. I ain't even gonna lie. But here we go. What you told us if we have this disease, this dreaded disease, we have to get these what you call it, vaccines, and now it's being investigated. COVID-19, ain't that something? That's a damn shame. We done took all the shots, and what they gonna tell us? They're saying it was water. That's one of the Mexico. A lot of people that live in Mexico cross the border and in California and get shots over here because they're getting diluted COVID shots. So anyway, and who knows anymore? We can't trust some people, and unfortunately, some of those people are in our government. It's sad, isn't it? It's very, very sad. The other thing that's really, really scary, and I like to talk about these things, but I really can't get too much because I don't understand what's going on in Colombia, the country. I mean, there's some war torn excuse me, that have a lot going on, but here in Colombia, they in the Bogota recruiters, they basically a police officer and some civilians, they were killed during a violent protest in Colombia, uh Ca- Caqueta, but they basically sorry, it's this air here in LA. 79 officers and 9 oil field workers were taken hostage by a rural community that standoff. There was an ombudsman who he's for human rights. He basically said that the violence erupted in a rural part of the state of Cameroon, multiplis, municipality. Municipality. Part of the problem is I can hear myself in my head, and I wear the headset because I have several things being recorded. So then you would hear all these different delays. But anyway, so it's kind of like I'm hearing myself talk. And anyway, so they were on in an oil field, and it belonged to the Emerald Energy, but it was attacked, and then a fire started by protesters, according to nation's police. But that's just so terrible that ouch, that in these protests, the civilians were killed, and a lot of the policemen were detained, and others were injured. But basically said that the office is out offering mediation. So I don't know what this mediation is going to entail or what have you, but I pray for those families and those people and just that, you know, everyone can be restored back to health. But there were some that were killed, so that's the unfortunate part. You know, to know that you go to work one day and you come home, your husband, your wife, or whoever, it's ridiculous. It's horrible. But this is an indigenous community, which makes it even worse because you know they ain't really doing nothing to nobody most of the time. They're probably just minding their own business. But again, who knows? They have access to the oil field as well, but it also put the companies and some of their subsidiaries of China, um, at risk and on hold also. If we don't have enough stuff going on, we can get in and out. It's starting to pick up a little bit, but if you notice, have you noticed how your Amazon orders? I mean, I pay for Prime. Are they gonna give me a refund because I'm not getting my stuff the next day, or is the inflation really going on? I've been having to wait a week or so for Prime stuff to the point where I get a box. I done order something new and forget that I was getting this box. But like, what's going on? Y'all need to get it together. But for the most part, with the Columbia situation, they had two dead and dozens of people were held hostage in Colombia in that protest against the oil company. But there was an officer and a civilian who was killed, and they died from gunshot wounds, unfortunately. But they basically had a peace deal out on the table in 2016, so about 7 years ago, and they rejected it. So the region could be involved in the unrest, and they could say the reason that they didn't do what they should have done to have get allies in the United States. It's hard to really say, but the reality is when you think about these things and how these people, I was talking to some gentlemen the other day who basically are work on oil chips. And here in Long Beach, this is a port, so everything that you can imagine to come into the United States comes to Long Beach. So these gentlemen were from India, and they are on this oil tanker that they have to. They ship. They come in, and then it seems like I always pick them up at a Walmart and drop them off at a Kmart. I don't know what the deal is, but they take the furthest one away from wherever they at, and I'm thinking, y'all know there was a Walmart closer. I'm getting paid more to drive them in the Uber, but hey, I'm not arguing. But anyway, it's always good conversation. But what my point is like when we talk about these countries and different places, it's so sad to me and baffling. And again, here's my emotion, but that a lot of people are taken advantage of, and the United States, they not right for that. Again, no ethics in business. You know what I'm saying? When they hire people, offshore businesses, you call the 800 number and it's somebody from Philippines, and the business people. But you mad as hell. You just want to cuss them and talk and tell you this and tell you that, and try to distract you from being mad. But that's what they're hired for because of their patience and their skill set, but mainly because of the money. Sad because well, they need you to make sure they pay me $5 an hour, and I've worked in customer service for 20 years. I need to be making $20 at least. That's $1 increase a year. But anyway, just saying, things like this make me feel so sad on the inside because, it's to the point where some people in world countries, and I don't know if we call it that anymore. Forgive me if we don't. I know we have all these new things, but in smaller areas, it's like do like it's almost to the point where they become martyrs and believe almost the whole concept that that they have to die for their country and stuff like that. And I just, I can imagine dying for a person, even though I'm not trying to do that either, let me tell you. But it's amazing to me how much of a martyr some of these people are. Sorry guys, allergies. But I wish them well, bless their hearts, and I pray that they get out safely. Those that are being held hostage, hopefully that ends soon. And, we're not going to have to keep hearing about such negative press about countries that are trying to recover from certain things and just can't because of all the things that they're going through. So hopefully we'll see what happens. But one of the things that I found interesting in our news is our basically we have when we talk about the racial divide of the world, we have uh, a team of people that allegedly, okay, because we have to say that race and inequalities from the U.S. News, they basically have this racial divide section, and it keeps track of any ongoing series of issues, any ongoing issues through the United States. But it takes a very unfiltered look and it goes allegedly deeply in to look at race relations in America and how inequalities and intersects with health, education, criminal justice, finance, and so many more topics. But the most of it is that they have live discussions all the time that are related to those different issues, and how we're trying to find different things. One of the things is on February the 16th, the African American girl in Minnesota, that they're still trying to find her. But the reality is saying that black women are killed and lost at a much larger rate than their white counterparts. So Minnesota has started a movement to change that. So we can only pray that that takes effect. And if you live in Minnesota or you know someone who lives in Minnesota, reach out, make sure everybody's all right, because it's very unsettling when myself as an African American woman thinks about stuff like that. That's the reason why I'm still grinding, y'all. Still grinding. And I know my success is imminent. It is coming, But it's so crazy. Uh, it's so crazy that still saying that this lady, I don't know if they found her or not. Someone, if you're listening and you're looking and you're in the comments, put down and let me know if they found her. Finding Minnesota's missing black woman. So it's saying finding her. So maybe they found her. But at any rate, I wanted to bring that up because I think that's pretty cool that they have that. The other thing that they had in their gallery, obviously, was the violence against the Asian Americans that were um, white man came in there and just blew up the spa. You know, I'm tripping because when that happened, I don't know why I pictured somebody, not males, but whoever he was. They said he was a white gunman, opened fire in three spas in the Atlanta area, and he killed the 8 people. And I know most of you know that, and we all know what has happened or whatever. But I really was avoiding the news during. Not that I didn't want to know what was going on. I wanted to affect my energy because I'm in my house trying to cope with that situation and then having to really hear these horrible stories about what was happening to Asian Americans, African Americans, Latino Americans, and Latinos, and they may not have been in America, but maybe just haven't been deported. Like some people think that they were supposed to be deported and sent back, and their babies on one, like that right there. That whole scene where the babies and the mom, couldn't do it. I couldn't watch it. But with this whole situation where there was this responding to the violence against the Asian Americans, I didn't even realize that it was so bad because a lot of times people of different cultures, they're not very they're kind of passive about what in the past they were a little bit more passive than we have been as African Americans because I can't I guess when if I think about it it'll create a riot but slavery started the earliest mention of slavery was in the 30s 1930s I believe and I'll verify that in a minute but the point is that's not even the point. The point is that we have dealt with it openly for so much longer as African Americans. But here in March of 2021, when this happened, um, it was horrible violence. And then at the time, the thing about it was, that was Donald Trump's era, you know, but they primarily, uh, the elders of the Asian community, basically, they fueled activists up by each other because they were like, Donald Trump tried to make it seem like COVID was a Chinese virus. So, the Asians came together and they basically, you know, I'm trying to use my words. Sorry, they came together and like they say, united we stand, divided we fall, and they became united. And it was great that to see that because not all cultures do that, and it's unfortunate that all cultures don't do that. But even as a brown culture, whether you're African American, Asian, you know, Indian, Latino, there's way more brown people than there are non-brown people. And people making that assumption that you know we basically don't work together. We could all work together in different ways from different sides of the fence, and just make sure that we advocate for one another because it's horrible. But it's like these attacks and incidents against the Asian population. It was almost 4,000 complaints that were reported over the past year alone. So it's like, who's handling these things? Are they being handled, or are they being swept under the rug? Because when you have the former president, like Trump was had followers that would drink probably his dirty bathwater, but the point I'm getting at is that when someone that is very influential starts a rumor like that about COVID, it carried throughout the United States. It's this bad state of event because he should have had a little bit more couth than that as in the leading the country. But we will not go there. We will not go there. But yes, so some of the other things in our, the racial portal, if you will, was there the first person um, accounts of slavery from the 1930s spotlights a very long history of racism. So, like I said, yeah, there's of a lot of unfortunate stuff that we have heard about in history. Um, but many people that can address the issues of slavery and things that have we've gone through with that. But I don't mind talking about the stories, but being African American, obviously your passion is going to come out a little bit stronger for my situation as an African American than it would for someone from a different culture. But that's the reason why I choose not to a lot on racial issues because it's such a controversial topic that you can never come to a medium of it, or a medium meaning a happy place of, it's always going to be contrast because there's no definitive way to resolve some of the crap and the minutia that we constantly see and hear about in this world that we live in. And for us to be one of the countries of the United States where people from different countries aspire to come and be and live, or just come here and or believe that we have so much, it just never makes sense to me how we can't get past it, and we could, but we just haven't. So it's a very touchy subject for me. I have a very radical family, and we have a family thread, and every morning they do put things on the thread about different things, racism and things that they go through. They live, most of them, my family, I'm talking, like, we're from Kansas, but one of my aunts, she had six kids, but nine with me and my sister. And anyway, she moved to Atlanta early on in my 20s. So she's been there for a long time now. And with all that being said, pretty much all of her children migrated to Atlanta. And I think there's only just one that doesn't live in Atlanta, who's in Oklahoma. But with that being said, oh, and one in Kansas City. So two of them don't live there, but four of them do. And we talk every morning. There's something on there. But my aunt, and I'm definitely going to communicate with her on this level. She created memoirs, and I love hearing her stories about her history and things of that nature. But it's crazy because we were in Kansas. It's not that racism didn't happen everywhere, but like how you could be somewhere here and then somebody could be somewhere else. Say LA, for instance. When I meet African American women and men here, they are a completely different breed. And I cannot explain it. It's no disrespect to anyone here, but the people of LA in general, they're always like moving, always out. Like, I'm not gonna say everybody, but like when you go around here, obviously it's very, 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 very busy, and people are always moving. And when I even when I talk to I keep a close knit of people, but I don't have a whole bunch of people. So there's only a few people that I talk to, and that are here, because I don't know a lot of people. But when I talk to the people that I know here, they're always in the streets, and not for anything bad, but I'm like, they talk about me never leaving home. So I know that, in this metropolis, in order to be successful, a lot of times you have to be out there because people grind here for real. But that was part of what I was going to say. The other part was that when we talk about slavery, in the 1930s, back in the 1930s, for anyone in my family that was alive and born or back then, it may not have felt the same as it would have maybe here in LA or somewhere in New York or somewhere in the dirty. You know what I'm saying? It may not have felt the same in Kansas as it felt to someone in the South, but people become in products of their environment. So they think that they can't do anything. They think that they can't evolve from anywhere or anything because someone is basically making them feel that way. And it's amazing to me when we talk about the voices of slavery and former enslaved people when they tell their stories. And it's very powerful. And again, not even comparing it to the Asian culture, the Asian culture was being totally, you know, racism that pe- okay, so if we put it in perspective and we say that a certain race doesn't like another race, then it is powered by certain things of that create a a preface for them to feel that they have that strength to do that. It's historic for some, but what I've learned about a lot of younger people nowadays is that they don't put up with that because they have friends and friends of all races, and they've become very um interested in the slavery and the Asian culture issues and the Latino issues. So that's a positive thing. But when you get a chance, you all, go and look at slaves tell their stories on the U.S. News site. It's really, really cool. They have a nice a nice platform for you to go in and look at all those cultures. And as you know, most of the time I do post these links for you later so that you can go and can go look them up for yourselves, and they usually show up on my YouTube channel. So, as continue to evolve on my website, I will share on my webpage. Uh, I'll make a section for the links of the week. That's a good idea, right? Bing, I'm thinking, hey. So anyway, and then I'll share the links of the week for our topics there. But anyway, so with that being said, that does it for our world, for our wishes for the world. And since we've reached the end of the topic and I'm the one on today, what I will say is that my wishes for the world are, something that basically we, depending on where what your worship regime is, you know that you only can get there in a spiritual from a spiritual perspective from God. The Bible admonishes certain things or whatever. But my wishes for the world is that man and mankind can find a unity in that we're able to get along. And when I say that, it reminds me of a scripture in the Bible that says, when man talks about peace and security, then the end will come. So there's a scripture that talks about that. And I see things that make it seem like they're going to try and have equality and help and love and all that stuff, but then sometimes not. So anyway, that's my wish for the world, is that we can try, like in the infamous words of Rodney King, can we all just get along? So that is my wish for the world. So we're going to move on with our next topic. And I just thought about it. I'm really the only reason I ultimately will want to start and stop the podcast so that there's 4 segments that post on YouTube. But I did not set it up that way today because when I post the live link in my build of my webpage, I have to go each time to the URL, copy and paste that new URL into the build part of my page. So I'm working with GoDaddy right now to try to figure it out, because it was very overwhelming yesterday. And I was like, let me just get on, because I'm ready to have great conversation and not have to worry about the things that I can't fix. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing. So the next topic is rep your city. Hey, throw your hands up. But this is really really cool. So I'm talking about LA. What's going on in this weekend? And what I love is there's always something going on in LA. Always, already. But what this was brought to my attention, De La Soul, a celebration of De La Soul. And so basically what this is in Echelon Park, there's going to be a De La Soul, a picnic to celebrate. Now, they say black folks ain't supposed to use picnic, because pick a nick was the word picnic came from pick a nigga, and they was picking a nigga to kill. So that's the reason why black folks don't use picnic. Just FYI, a little bit of information. Hey, things. Anyway, but everyone's favorite hip hop group. So De La Soul, if you don't know, is a hip hop group, and they basically are being celebrated this weekend. Um, that's going to be on Sunday, March the 5th. Oh, that'll be my mom's birthday. She's passed, but it was her birthday on March the 5th. But it's going to be held in Echelon Park from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it's marking the occasion of their back catalog finally being reissued. So I guess they're doing like a trilogy, or they're reissuing, and it's going to be available on stream, to be able to stream, because so many so many am I gonna have to edit out that I use the N word, because YouTube don't like certain things. But I should have said pick the N word, so I guess I'm gonna have to go through here and try to, YouTube, they don't like it. But I was just telling the truth. Gee. But anyway, so back to De La Soul. De La Soul is they're reissuing their catalog, and it's going to be streamable, and it's really really cool because it's paying their tribute to their founding member Dave, and I can't say his name, but he goes by Trugoy the Dove, who tragically passed away over the weekend at age 54. Oh, that's so sad. I did not know that. 54. Dang, he was young. But they released 3 Feet High and Rising in the 1989. That's it. But they basically are doing this in honor of him. Oh, that's so sad. But rest in peace, Dave. De La Soul, De La Soul, De La Soul, DAYLA Soul, De LA Soul, but De La Soul. That's kind of cute. Play on double entendre but I can also put that on the YouTube channel for the Rep Your City. And you can go and see if you're in the LA area this weekend. That's something you may want to do. Cool, cool, cool. Also, excuse me, there's some other events going on in the city. The Chocolate Sundays comedy at the Laugh Factory. I keep on saying that I need to go to the Laugh Factory. I have never been to a comedy club. I need to definitely go to a comedy club at some point. Maybe I'll go on a date, ticket on a date to the comedy club. But the Laugh Factory, which is in Hollywood here in LA, it is always packed. I was driving at night. I don't mess around too much, but it's basically at 8001 Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, California. But it's the Chocolate Sundays comedy. So I don't know what this is going to consist of, but it's basically they say this is not like any other show. They have great DJs on, but it's a showcase. Which has a very powerful mix of very seasoned veterans that are well as veterans as well as up and coming. So it's pretty cool because these are going to be some new people. They've had recent performers there like Kevin Hart and Bill Burr, Howie Mandel, Dion Cole, but tonight, and Jay Z, Beyonce, Ti, and all these people have come. Celebrity attendees will be included, but it's saying come dressed to impress and be a part of one of the best audiences in Hollywood. So it looks like that's the popping out. That's happening in Hollywood this weekend. You must be 18 and up to attend. There's a two drink minimum with an can be satisfied with non-alcoholic drinks. So apparently they don't serve alcoholic beverages. Interesting. But if you're interested in, you can call 424-248-9325, or you can email team@chocolatesundays.com. Yeah, I'll put that on there for you if you would like to know about that. Um, if you're coming to LA this weekend. So anyway, it gives you parking. If I was you, I would just get a hotel and take an Uber. Because finding parking in LA is like finding a needle in a haystack, child. There is none. So anyway, that looks like it's going to be popping. It doesn't say. It says you can buy advanced purchases with at the Laugh Factory website, but it does not say how much or if there's a cover charge or whatever. But anyway, so that gives you an idea of one of the events that's going on in the city, and well, two of the events that's going on in the city. I feel like those would be really really nice. And then we got the Reggae Fest LA at the Globe Theater, Los Angeles. The reggae fest. I like reggae music. I do really like music. The sun is shining. The weather is hot. I love reggae music, and I feel like it's important to get a little bit of culture because reggae music is very nice. It'll probably be a lot of weed, but it's legal here. But the reggae fest in LA at the Globe Theater in Los Angeles is located at 740 South Broadway, Los Angeles, California. And these tickets are ranging from $23.10 to $43.70. So that's not bad. But it's starting on Saturday from 10 p.m. and it lasts until 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. Okay, so people will not be going to church if they go to that down the fifth. So, but it's pretty cool. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's a nice theater. Wow, that's really nice. So I'll post that out there for you all as well. And find out. I wish you guys would talk to me more. Tell me what you're doing this weekend. But that's all right, because y'all gonna be begging to get on this show. You just watch. I'm gonna have faith in you. I'm gonna have faith in y'all, and I believe that eventually you will participate. And it's okay, because big things are coming from Miss Dina Marie, honey. Don't even play. But that's pretty awesome. And what else we got going on in my city? I think this is kind of cool. They have the WFPA, the Women's Prep Academy. That's awesome. So, when you think about it, women who have been firefighters, men who have been firefighters, they don't tell you about, well, I never knew about females being firefighters. Not that there aren't, but it's nice that they have this event. It's saying, sorry guys, excuse me, it's talking about supposed to have some really bad weather. So I don't know how much of what's supposed to happen and what will and won't happen this weekend and when the weather's supposed to happen. But basically it's saying that on that the women's fire prep academy will be postponed 1 week to start on Saturday, March 4th. So this is going to take place, but it's saying due to current extreme weather conditions. So maybe people that are living in certain areas of the surrounding areas of LA, excuse me, have prevented them maybe from being able to get here. But those conditions um, were, they had an augmented staff, and it needed to respond to, oh, I get it. They What happened was the firefighters had to go handle a mud and debris and swift water rescue in LA County due to the snow and the rain. I mean, the rains, we've had rains and stuff like that. So, because of that, they had to postpone it to this Saturday. Postpone 1 week to start. So, yeah, so it will actually happen this weekend on the 4th, which it says it will take place on day one is Saturday. Day two is March 11th, so that'll be a week from Saturday, and every Saturday subsequently thereafter up until the 25th, and then on the 26th of March, which is a Sunday, and the sixth event will be April 1st. So that's pretty cool, and that's going to be held at the LA Fire Department headquarters. I'm so sorry. The fire department headquarters, which is at 1320 Northeastern Avenue in Los Angeles, California. And I will put that on the page as well. That's pretty cool, though. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I don't know if it's an event that people can watch, or if it's like you have to be part. like of a family? It doesn't say. Open to everyone, 18 and over. Cool. So basically they're hosting this again, and it's a year of training and preparation for a career of firefighting. So apparently I don't know if you had to sign up for the day one fitness assessment. Child, if you're trying to be a fire person, you definitely need to be uh in shape. You know, you can't just go there and just say, "Hey, I will start today." Okay, I'm trying to gain my composure because I'm so tired. Jiminy crickets. But yes, that sounds like a pretty cool event. I think it's pretty awesome because it's like, again, you don't hear very many things about female firefighters, and I have seen shows, 911 and different things, even though they're depicted by Hollywood's version. I'm pretty sure that they're close to the majority of what happens in some of those, but 911 is like first responders. But anyway, so there's the 911 firefighters too, but they probably there's a lot that goes into preparing. It's probably like the Olympics because if you think about it, you're rushing to try to save somebody's life, so you got to get there. Excuse me. And then I hear myself yawning, and I yawn again because they say it's contagious. And then hey, we have some burlesque dine and dance guest lists from 9 to 11 p.m. on March the 4th, Saturday. New Door Lounge, or Next Door Lounge is what it's called. And so this is burlesque and pretty much what it sounds like. It's an iconic Next Door Lounge is a vibrant dine, drink, show, and dance venue in the heart of Hollywood. And I've dropped some people off there before. One time, this man, I picked him up, and he had me like I was cracking up in the front seat because he was in the back seat talking under his breath, but talking to me. And I was like, what a weirdo. But hey, all I know is I got something for you in the front seat in my Uber. I ain't saying that I'm always gonna win, but I'm a daggone sure give you a fight. It's so funny. He was just drunk. But anyway, here it is, they're saying that this offers its famous burlesque plus live music and after party event every Friday and Saturday night. 9 to 11 p.m. The burlesque performs, and there's a live band R&B and top 40 cover. Hey, from 11 p.m. on, they're gonna have DJ who plays hip hop, Latin hits, top 40 and classics. And the ticket is for the guest list only, which is from 9 to 11, and does not grant any seat. So entrance with the ticket is not guaranteed. Entrance is subject to their smart and sexy dress code. However, with that ticket, there is no entrance fee until 11 p.m. Waiting time may apply, and you can book a table on Open Table or www.nextdoorhollywood.com for seats. So, in my mind, and I could be wrong, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, is it a burlesque club? Is it just the women that, kick their legs, or are they stripping and they don't want to tell you, or they keep their clothes on? Because this lady on the picture, she's covered, everything's covered, and she has a cover over her nipple. So they look like they wear clothes and maybe a thong or something, but they have good. Looks like it's having a lot good time. I'm gonna put that on there for you. I've been to that club. I haven't been there, but I've been picked up people there. So anyway, we'll see. Y'all let me know what happened at the burlesque club. Look like they're gonna be having fun. But also, what else we got going on in my city? I wanted to tell y'all about some restaurants. My son on my birthday, OMG, he took me to the Vita Cantina. Oh my God, this restaurant is so delish. It's called Vita Cantina, and it's located in 1870 Harbor Boulevard in Costa Mesa. Now, if you're coming to LA, Costa Mesa is in Orange County. So you may not want to drive all the way over to go, but this restaurant, everything was really, really good. And it's LA space Vita, VIDA space Cantina. And again, they're at 1870. And they have a really nice, it's like a little hut. And they have all these little warmers heating, like, because it reminded me of, I went to Turks and Caicos, and in Turks and Caicos, the beach was like right there, but they had this little grass hut that looks just like the La Vida Cantina's restaurant. So you could eat outside at this La Vida Cantina, and it reminds me of being in the Caribbean or whatever. But they have an indoor seating area as well. So La Vida Cantina, that's what I'm going to post over here for you for the restaurant. A lot of people come here and they eat the steak and whatnot and blah 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 and yada yada yada. But to me, I love the Mexican food. I will eat Mexican food Monday through Sunday. Watch out for the beans. Haha. But hey, I don't care. I like food, spicy food. But I eat, oh, and I love sopas. Sopas are so yummy. It's like this little, I keep wanting to say the sopa, it's not like cornbread, but it reminds you of like if you took the outside of a tamale, the like that's made out of the corn meal, and you press that with a little bit of flour, it makes this little cup that looks like a strawberry shortcake type of cup that has like a little dip in it. And so then they put the beans, the refried beans, and I always get I either get carne asada or carnita, a carne asada, which is beef, or I forget what how to say pork. Carnitas, well, pork, but I don't typically do pork. I just do the beef pretty much, and or beans, no meat. But it tastes so delicious because then it's topped with good things like guacamole and pico de gallo, and then the white cheese that they use in a Latino restaurant, which is like so creamy and just yummy, 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 yummy. And then I always have to have something really, really hot, like a they. I usually get the habanero sauce and I mix it with their sauce and shoot. I'll be eating good if they're in the hood. It's very good, very, very good. So I'll put that restaurant over there for you as well. But for the most part, um, the restaurants that most people do this all the time, and they go and they just Google something, um, and they come up with whatever it is that they want to eat or what have you, and they enjoy what they like, but you don't know if it's going to be a good restaurant. So I like to add some, just one little snippet of information so that you have somewhere to go, you know. Um, but for the most part, that is our Rep Your City A section. And now we're going to move on to our final section of the day, which is the Each One Teach One section. And in the Each One Teach One section, it's kind of almost a section where I like to incorporate some of the things that I kind of started with, which was me healing me, you healing you, us healing each other. And so some of the things that would be near and dear to me, and I'm so sorry, y'all. But one of the things that I feel is really paramount in this section is just talking about some of the things that we as individuals want to lend to others that maybe don't know about or they do know about. I mean, maybe I like to knit and I want to show you, how many packs you need to make a sweater, whatever. I'm teaching you something. For me, when it comes down to teaching something or giving advice or talking about something, I like it to be, both educational, intellectual, and sometimes healing. And so, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was there is this entrepreneurship institute, and it is formatted on the each one teach one concept. And with this, it establishes gifts for uh, students to attend school so that they can go and get degrees. And I think this is so awesome. And this is there was a family called the Brown family, Thomas Brown, his wife Jessie Brown, and then their son Thomas Brown III. And it serves both coastal Carolina University students and area and high school students. And it's very unique because it's partnerships with the Craig Wall Senior College of Business Administration and the Spadoni College of Education's Vital Center for Teaching. And in here, they take learning and community engagement and things of that nature, but it serves students with gives them the tools that they need, like I said, to build very prosperous, successful futures into their education or their business. So I think that's pretty awesome. And I'm going to make sure that I include that link for you as well. If you're in the South Carolina area, you can actually visit that particular institution, or that website to find out more about that institution and the entrepreneurship. But it's basically sponsored by Brown. Brown is a popular college there in coastal Carolinas. So that's pretty awesome. But also, there is an each one teach one Facebook page, and this each one teach one Facebook page basically is hosted by uh, EOTOSA, which is Each One Teach One San Antonio in Texas. And so here on their Facebook page, they communicate about various things. But if you're someone that is, it's basically tutoring and helping change lives. It's one learner, one tutor changes lives. But their concept is that it provides one-on-one tutoring to adults who function at or a below an eighth grade level of academy. Ac- so that's pretty awesome. And I will include their Facebook link on here. So if you or anyone you know is encountering any issues where you need to have some assistance getting tutored, you can go here as well. Uh, they have different fundraisers and events to help prevent blindness. Um, they also ask you to join their book fair that will be coming up. So I'll add that link for you in my YouTube description below, and you'll be able to utilize those links so that you can kind of see what is going on out there if that is something that you find you need assistance with. So that's something pretty cool in our Each One Teach One section. There's also something that I wanted to share, um, that I found very profound, um, this morning on my family thread. And one of the things on my family thread was my one of my family members sent me. not just me, but sent something out to us, and it was talking about when you have that how self doubt starts, and self doubt can creep up on you. You know what I'm saying? You could say, okay, well, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to list three things about myself that are good skills. And as you're listing these things, I hear like I am not a self-doubter. So I don't know what someone who doubts themselves feels. I have been known to want to seek validation from the close people that I love, family members. But regardless, I guess they can all be brought up in the same way. But it's normal for some people to become self doubters because say you list three skills about yourself, and in the listing of those three skills, you think you start having self doubt that comes through. And it's normal for sometimes for us to doubt things and to doubt ourselves or whatever. Um, you know, but if you start to self doubt, you want to help yourself by you list your skills. Um, you know, but when you start doubting yourself, you have got to find positive ways to help you. Now, a couple of things is you can not compare yourself to other people. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's easier said than done, and we hear these things like this, but you know, you have to remember what your values are. And I always break stuff down for myself when I have to try and remember something. I have to go back and I say, okay, well, what did my mom teach me? What did my dad teach me? What did this? What did that? You hear things like I am worthy. Like certain people will do affirmations and things of that nature. For me, and we've talked about this before on my show, I meditate, and in meditating, I'm able to make sure that whatever it is that I use as a focal point for myself during my meditation, then I use that, and it helps me to process get to a process in my meditation where I'm actually relaxed, and I'm actually just able to clear my mind, because the purpose of meditating is to clear your mind so that you do not so that you are getting rid of the stuff from yesterday or the day before or whatever. But you have to basically make sure that if you are someone who puts self-doubt on, or that goes through self-doubt, or has it's an anxiety for you, then you have got to limit your social media intake as well, because social media is designed to promote business, and what do we say about business? There's no ethics. So it's not going to worry about the people that need to feel happy about how they look in the mirror or what they think about themselves, because its goal is to promote them so they can make more money. You know what I mean? So you have to put yourself in situations, but that will allow you to keep, first importantly, your morals and your values at the forefront. Meditation helps to evolve your way of thinking, evolve your persona of you, so that these things cannot affect you. But part of meditating, and this is something that I observed about myself, is as I started learning more and more about myself, um, I also realized that I could not put myself out in the environments and the elements of the world at a certain point because I wasn't ready. Meaning that as I was working on who Dina was and who Dina is, I should say, and I still feel this way as I get better and better to the things I like about myself, because there's something we all have to work on. Trust and believe. And even if you want to be, with another person, Sometimes you have to work on you before you can actually be in a relationship, whatever. But I believe that everything that's supposed to happen happens when it's supposed to happen. But the main thing is that you cannot put yourself in a pool of hatred and self pity and loathing and disrespect. And sometimes that's what social media is. So you got to be mindful of that. And those probably do not encompass your morals and your values. And they shouldn't. You know what I mean? They should not. Um, and if you are not clear as to what self doubt is, let's just break it down for you. Self doubt is when, you know, you have feelings of uncertainty about certain situations or decisions that you need to make or aspects of life. And it could be easy as like, should I go to the grocery store or should I go up the street? Should I go down the street? Should I go back the street? Like sometimes you can just run through a gamut of questions that you have for yourself and you can't even figure out what it is that you're trying to ask or what it is you're trying to figure out after that because by then you've talked yourself out of doing it. So it's basically coming to a point where you're able to go ahead and venture out and do what you got to do and make sure that you do get the things done that need to be done. You know what I mean? It could stem from from experiences as a child, any kind of criticism that you've gone through throughout your life, you could very well uh, put you in a place where you have self doubt. And we talked about this on my show where we were talking about being bullied. But for the most part, you if you have I'm not so much wanting to talk about what you need to look for self doubt. Because if you doubt yourself and you have these opinions of yourself, you already know. What I want to talk about is more so about how it's okay that if you get to a point and you have this negative trans transaction with yourself, how you get out of it. The way you get out of it is you begin to journal about it. I love my journal. Okay, so I buy stuff off of Rihanna's site. I like her undergarments and they're very pretty. They feel great on blah blah blah. But anyway, so I placed an order and with that I got a free journal. And it was so cute. So I leave it beside my bed and I write in it. And in writing in it, like some days I'll just have so much stuff going on in my head. Like Monday, for some reason, I was just not myself. I was my old self, which was weird because I had to reflect and figure out what was making me feel like that. And it passed on into Tuesday. Even though I went, because I believe if you go to sleep, you reset yourself and you kind of like get to a better place. Went to sleep, woke back up, still was in that bad place. And so, anyway, long story short, eventually I got out of it, but I had to write stuff down. I had to write it down because there were so many feelings of emotion in my head, and I wasn't quite sure of why it was like that, but I do remember who I was talking to last that got me there. And even though it's weird, you could be talking to somebody and they might not even say nothing, but just the way that they act or the way that they sound or something that they say, maybe one word sentence or something like that can take you in a different place. So you have to make sure that, if you engage with other people, that those other people are uh, either you're stronger so that not that you're manipulating or overpowering powering them, but that you're stronger than they are on an emotional level so that you're not going to suck up and suck in their negative energy because that's real to me. I don't care. It's real, that negative energy. But then in my journal, I wrote down and I had to, in order to get past this point, what works for me is to write down all these beautiful things that I feel about myself. Not in an arrogant kind of way, but maybe you go through the alphabet and you find a word. But then it wasn't even just what I felt about myself. It was about the things that I know will be things that will happen for me and how it will feel for me when it happens. And so when I start writing like a little rampage like that, it becomes a medication for my mental status and power and brings me back up to where I need to be. But when you put yourself out here in a podcast like this, you can potentially be seen by people across the world. So you never know what people are experiencing, and negative stuff can impact us in different ways. But it's so important that as I heal myself, that I help you find things that heal you, and maybe help you to understand what it is that you need to do for you. You know what I'm saying? um we were talking about celebrities earlier today, and it's amazing to me how many celebrities are realizing, or they're divulging. Now, I don't know if they're doing it for the purpose of money or popularity or whatever, but I can't imagine exposing expulsion in that way, where I'm actually exposing things about myself that make it worse. So I was looking at uh I was looking it was like a TMZ article, I think it was, and uh in this TMZ article, it was talking about one of the, I think he is I don't know if he was a singer, but he was going through some mental things that son's wife's murder. Mm-mm-mm. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. Because TMZ is always coming up with something new. But anyway, there's so many people that go through different things in the celebrity world, and you don't even, some people are just looking at them to be a form of guidance for them. Like, what can I learn from this person? What can I learn from that person? They had this one little boy on there, little Mosey. He looks like he's about 10 years old, very little, but he said he got charged with rape, but he was found not guilty. And so, what I'm trying to figure out, um, what, like, why, like, to me, that's a sickness. If okay, if Earl says, then it means period. Period. Some people don't be stronger when they're saying no, they're taking whatever. But in this particular situation, the woman said she had bruising. Uh, why can't I hear? Hold on. Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. What did I do? There we go. I guess it was buffering. What was being said was this woman said that she on her arm and her neck and her knee as a result of him allegedly raping her, but they revealed that the alleged victim admitted to having unconsensual sex with the rapper in the past. So it's crazy because you never know which came first, the chicken or the egg. Is she lying? Is he lying? Whatever. But it's all sickness. These are things that people manifest because of the association that they have, because of the things that they do. He said ain't wrong, but I don't know. I think because if a girl comes out with bruises, there's some places that you'll get bruises from when you participate in, sexual activities. There's some places that you shouldn't have bruises, if that was a a situation. Sometimes I don't know what the situation is. He looks um like he could be half black, half white, or half Latino, half black, or whatever. And so, and in some places you just black if you mix with any part of it. So with that being said, what her race was, but there are certain things that you know you got to research and put yourself in, because again, your mental is important to be able to make sure that you're learning from a process that is going to teach somebody else. So everything that you do, even if you have little kids, you're teaching them stuff. So you got to be careful what you're doing in front of them. You know what I'm saying? We keep hearing about Travis Scott being in the news. Why is he being accused of something? It's only so many times that a person can be put in the news before eventually they find you guilty of something. And I've said this in the past, and I'm not saying you're guilty, Travis. I'm just saying you're guilty, Travis. In New York of things going on in LA when you come out here. And I'm sure, but I just pray that, that these young men that are in these streets don't get too large to the point where they're not respectful of themselves first. Because being respectful of your family, you're going to respect yourself. If you respect yourself, that's being respectful of your family. You know what I'm saying? There's always been a conversation that has been had on a spiritual level where it talks about you respecting your parents. And the reason it says that is because your parents are the ones who taught you how to be who you are. And so if they're teaching you how to be who you are, what you need to be doing, then you're out here in the streets and you're not doing that and you're representing them wrong. So you represent everybody in your family, well, your parents and your offspring. That's basically saying that Travis, we keep hearing about Travis Scott being in the news. Why is he being accused of something? It's only so many the incident was times nothing. That a person can be put in the news before eventually they find you guilty of something. So again, in another one of his, like the previous concert he had, the guy was, I guess he was on drugs and he was in the audience, the parents and other people expected him to stop the concert or something like that. I might have the story incorrect, but it was still they were trying to blame him. Even in this situation, yet again, they came and interrupted his performance based on some other stuff going on, but then tried to make it seem like all I hope pray that he didn't do anything, like I said, because you are a reflection of not just yourself, but you have small children now, a daughter and a son, and a potential wife. I think they're married, but nobody business. And I mean, like, congratulations if you are Kylie and Travis. But I'm just saying, Travis, be aware, be mindful, because you don't want to tear your family because like the whole takeoff situation, that sucks. That, 1 minute you're doing something and the next minute you're not living. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be cognizant of what's going on before we step off into something else, because it takes nothing but a moment for things to change. You know what I mean? Nothing but a moment for things to change, and that's facts, and it's very scary because you just never know what can happen from any of that. But we got some concerts coming up. Hey, now I'm not sure what Kim Kardashian is going to be doing, but it's saying that, and I guess it's just some spots that some spots in celebrities will show up at, and so they get booked for one thing or another in Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and the Sunset Strip. And Kim Kardashian is supposed to be going, uh, being Anna is coming here, but I wonder now that she's pregnant right now if she's going to be touring. Mariah Carey, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, even Steve Harvey. But anyway, they have like TMZ celebrity tours is what they're talking about is on TMZ. So if you come to Hollywood, I mean to LA, a lot of people like to do that. I've never even done those tours. It's so funny. But I just want to say as we go into closing this week that please stick with me as I transition into my revamp of my 4 segments. Eventually my goal is to start each segment and end each segment and restart each segment and end each segment. So there'll be 4 30-minute podcasts that post on my channel. I have several things that I need to work out with GoDaddy, as I mentioned, to make sure that when I am doing this, if if the link that I'm putting in there, is that going to keep my log open, or do I have to re-enter a log? It's kind of like a lot, but it's fun. So I enjoy it, and it's very meaningful when you're doing it for yourself. So I want to encourage you all. This is my each one teach one. I want to encourage you all to go out there and do whatever it is that you've been wanting to do. I mean, quit finding excuses as to why you don't want to start that new ice cream shop, or why you don't want to start, you know, aspiring to the new artwork, or why you don't want to, sing, or whatever it is that you want to do. Stop finding excuses as to why you don't want to do them, and do them. It's so important to put your dreams out there, because there's enough room for all of us to have what we want. There's enough money for all of us to spend it on what we want. But most importantly, your dreams are a branch of who you are, and they're the most important things of what you want in life. And if you don't put it out there, and if you don't aspire to it, you'll never forgive yourself for not trying. You got to do it. And a lot of people will tell you that if you're doing something you love, it never feels like work. So there's so many wonderful things that you can find uh, out here to do. I just want you to aspire to what you want to do. And maybe you're doing it. Maybe, being a mother, a wife, I believe for myself, not anybody else, that I can do all the things that I want to do. Some people feel like, if they go out and become an artist, like a musical artist, or uh, any type of celebrity, that they cannot do that and have a marriage, or they cannot do that and have children. And you can do all of it. You can do all of it. Trust and believe me, you can do all of it. And I know I can. And I believe that, love and happiness. Hey, I believe all of it can be done. I enjoy being the person that I am, and I enjoy loving um, the people that have may or may not have loved me back, because I, will be the first to say that I give more than sometimes I get. But that's not why I give. I give because I love me, and I focus on being happy. And happiness is a portal of bringing more happiness to you. You know what I mean? So if you bring, yourself to a happy place, and you always feel happy, you'll start attracting all those happy things. Just like if you do the opposite of that, you attract what you don't want as well. So you got to be mindful of that, because we can only do what we can do for ourselves. And then after, what can we do? We can't do anything. We can't, there's not going to be a lot of people that are going to do a lot for you. You have to do it for yourself. So I appreciate when someone lends me advice and gives me that advice. And I'm a big advocate of processing information. And sometimes if I feel good about it, then I process it and I respond. If I feel bad about it, I take what I like and leave the rest, kind of thing. But I know that we all have a place, and for our goals and dreams to be to reach them and aspire to them. And I know you could do it. And as I always say, these podcasts for me is a healing for me, and it's me healing me. because I'm speaking to you about things that I've lived, not just talking to you about the yank that, rah rah and blah blah whatever, but these are things that I've lived. So hopefully through me telling you a part of, things about myself, it will also allow you to feel comfortable enough to share your process, your you know plight on life and the things that you go through and have gone through and stuff like that. But again, I hope you'll join me on the show at some point, all of you, any of you, one of you, so that you're not always hearing about me. But again, this is a podcast about sharing our life, sharing things about the world, sharing things about things that we look up to and find that may not be as perfect as they seem. But in celebrity news, we learn a lot about celebrities. We hear a lot about celebrities, but they're humans as well. So they're not always perfect, but the ability for them to put their life out on the line for us to view on a regular basis is a big ask in itself. So it's pretty awesome that we have opportunities to be able to communicate on this podcast and be able to teach each other different things about ourselves, about things in the world, things that we want our world to do better on, and things that we want our personal families to do better on. So if we can share that and teach each other how to be stronger for each other and how to help each other, then we all can make sure that we have a better place at home at least, and also in closing, there is a book that is called Each One Teach One, and it's called Each One Teach One Images, and it's on Amazon. So Each One Teach One, spelled out, all the words, images, and people just like me and you, they've learned how to deal with circumstances and situations. By multiplying their authenticity, their encouragement. It's based on instruction, understanding, and you can teach each one, teach one a simple concept, yet one not always followed. So it's important for us to keep in mind that a lot of things that we do, many of the things that we do, we can use it as an excuse. It's like, I'm not a teacher. I don't teach you. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. What was that? It used to be, people used to say, like if you say, have you seen my sister? And they're like, do I look like, what did they say? Do I look like I have them in my back pocket? I don't know. It was kind of cheesy, but used to be something this because, but you know, that goes with that concept of it takes a village to raise a kid. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's not your child, you know, nowadays people have made things so hard to be able to try and help somebody that it's ridiculous. But for the most part, still the concept is that, without, you know, our greatest teacher that we know of, if you're uh spiritual, was Jesus. Jesus was a teacher, and to date he's been the best teacher, and he would come down to a certain level so that he would be able to make sure that he would be able to teach people, so he taught people, he traveled through the world, you know what I'm saying, and the instructions that we've basically had through the Bible have always been some form of teaching, which has always been an awesome opportunity. So anyway, I don't know if I lost my peoples on Instagram, but I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. Hey. But anyway, so in closing of the show, there we are. Yay. In closing with the show, I really appreciate you guys hanging in here with me today. You see me toggling and kind of like reading extemporaneously, but just trying to make sure that I give you what I got. it takes a
It
village
may
to
not be
raise a kid.
all of
You know what I'm saying? Just
me,
because it's not your child,
but it's
you know,
enough to
nowadays people
satisfy
have
me.
made things
So
so
thank
hard to be
you,
able to
and I look
try and
forward to
help
seeing you
somebody
all
that
next
it's ridiculous.
week.
But
And
for the
as
most
I
part,
go, it's going to get
the
even
concept
more
is that,
organized, and
you
I'm
know,
so excited.
without,
Thanks, guys.
you
Love
know,
you. Mwah.
our
Over
greatest
and
teachers that we know
out.
of, if you're